Kenneth Grahame was born on March 8, 1859, in Edinburgh, Scotland. He is best known as the author of the beloved children's book The Wind in the Willows, a classic tale that has been enjoyed by generations of readers. His work has had a lasting influence on children's literature, and his stories continue to be celebrated for their charming characters and imaginative storytelling. Growing up in Scotland, Kenneth Grahame had an early interest in nature and the outdoors, which would later appear in his writing. He spent much of his childhood in the countryside, which inspired many of the settings and characters in his books. As a boy, Grahame was also an avid reader, enjoying both adventure stories and books that explored the world around him. He showed a talent for writing from a young age, and began writing stories and essays as a teenager. After finishing school, Grahame went on to study at St. Edward's School in Oxford, England. His time at Oxford helped shape his literary style, as it introduced him to classical works of literature, and further developed his interest in nature and animals. Despite his love of writing, Grahame decided to focus on a career in business, and began working for the Bank of England after completing his education. While he worked in the bank, he continued to write in his spare time, producing short stories, essays, and poems. In 1898, Grahame's first major success as a writer came with the publication of a collection of stories titled The Golden Age. These stories, written for both children and adults, explore themes of childhood, imagination, and the passage of time. They are filled with warm humor and thoughtful observations on the world, showing Grahame's deep understanding of human nature. Though The Golden Age was well received, it was his next work that would make him famous. In 1908, Grahame published The Wind in the Willows, which would become his most famous and beloved work. The book tells the story of a group of animal characters, including mole, rat, badger, and the infamous toad, who live in a fictionalized version of the English countryside. The characters' adventures, friendships, and misadventures reflect Grahame's love of nature, as well as his ability to create rich, memorable personalities. The Wind in the Willows is often considered one of the greatest works of children's literature, admired for its mix of adventure, wisdom, and whimsy. While The Wind in the Willows is his best-known book, Grahame wrote several other works that were also popular in his time. These included The Reluctant Dragon, a short story about a dragon who does not want to fight, and Dream Days, another collection of stories about childhood and growing up. Although these works were not as widely recognized as The Wind in the Willows, they too contained elements of the themes Grahame explored in his writing: the joy of childhood, the beauty of nature, and the importance of friendship. Throughout his life, Grahame was known for his quiet and private nature. He did not seek fame and was often content to stay out of the spotlight. Despite his success as a writer, he struggled with personal challenges and was known to be a sensitive man. His writing reflects this sensitivity, with its deep empathy for his characters and a focus on the emotions that shape their experiences. He was particularly skilled at creating characters who were both relatable and extraordinary, such as Toad, whose wild adventures and over-the-top personality make him one of the most memorable characters in children's literature. Grahame's works were not only loved by children, but also by adults, who appreciated the deeper layers of meaning in his stories. Many of his works, including The Wind in the Willows, have been interpreted as explorations of human nature, with the animal characters representing different aspects of society. For example, Toad has often been seen as a symbol of the reckless pursuit of pleasure, while Mole represents innocence and Rat is a figure of calm wisdom. Grahame's ability to write for both children and adults allowed his books to have a wide appeal. In addition to his literary accomplishments, Grahame's works were adapted for the stage, film, and television, helping to ensure their lasting popularity. The Wind in the Willows has been performed countless times in various forms, including musicals, plays, and animated films. Each new adaptation brings fresh life to Grahame's characters and introduces them to new generations of readers and viewers. Despite the success of his books, Grahame continued to lead a quiet life. He retired from the Bank of England in 1908 and spent his later years in the countryside, where he continued to write and reflect on his experiences. He never married and had no children of his own, though he was close to his family, particularly his son, Alastair. The bond between Grahame and his son is said to have inspired much of his writing, especially The Wind in the Willows, which contains themes of friendship, family, and the love of nature. Kenneth Grahame died on July 6, 1932, at the age of 73. His legacy as one of the great authors of children's literature lives on through his works, which continue to be read and loved by people of all ages. The Wind in the Willows remains his most famous work, but his other stories are also highly regarded and have been cherished by readers for their warmth, imagination, and timeless appeal. Today, Kenneth Grahame is remembered not only for his literary achievements, but also for his contributions to the world of children's literature. His ability to blend adventure with wisdom, humor with emotion, and fantasy with reality has made him one of the most beloved authors of his time. His books have been translated into many languages, adapted into numerous films and plays, and continue to inspire new generations of readers to discover the magic of his stories. In conclusion, Kenneth Grahame's works have had a profound impact on the world of literature, particularly in the realm of children's books. His storytelling has touched the hearts of millions, and his characters continue to live on in the imaginations of readers around the world. Through his stories, Grahame has taught us about the importance of friendship, the beauty of nature, and the joy of childhood. His legacy as a writer is secure, and his books will continue to be cherished for many years to come.